The stars were quiet that night, not silent, but quiet in a way that felt respectful, like the universe itself was holding its breath, waiting for something it knew was about to happen. Above Earth, the defense grid was broken, shattered into drifting fragments that floated like ash after a fire. Some pieces still glowing faintly, some still carrying the last traces of human life that had once fought to hold the line. Commander Elias Ward stood alone at the observation deck, staring into the endless dark, his face calm but heavy with everything he had seen. And even now, he did not look away because he knew he could not. Behind him, the bridge was tense and quiet until a voice broke through, informing him of the final transmission from Luna Station, and after a brief pause, he gave the order to play it. The message came through in broken static, a tired voice struggling to stay strong as it said they were overrun, that they could not hold, and then, with quiet courage, it ended with a simple message for Earth. They stayed. The transmission ended without noise or chores, no screams or explosions, just silence, and somehow that silence felt heavier than anything else. It had all started 3 weeks earlier, when the stars themselves seemed to change, when shapes appeared where nothing should exist, dark forms that did not move like ships, but like something alive. Humanity did what it always does. It reached out with hope, sending message, music, language, everything that made us who we are. But the only answer that came back was destruction. Now those same unknown shapes were moving again, and their path was clear, straight toward Earth, as if nothing else in the universe mattered. With only 10 ships remaining, damaged and barely holding together, the reality settled in that this was no longer a battle to win, but a moment to decide how humanity would be remembered. A young voice suggested retreat, the idea of survival hanging in the air, but the question came back just as quickly. Retreat to where? When everything that mattered was behind them. It became clear then that this was not just an attack on a planet, but an attempt to erase everything humanity had ever been, reducing them to nothing more than a forgotten mistake. And in that moment, a new idea took shape, not of victory, but of resistance, of making the enemy feel every second, every loss, every cost of trying to erase them. The decision was made, calm and certain. A collision course was set, not as an act of desperation, but as a final statement that humanity would not fade quietly into the dark. Before the end, the crew took their moments, sending messages home, simple words filled with love, regret, and everything left unsaid. Small human connections in the face of something vast. The engines ignited, and the ships began to move forward together, not as survivors trying to escape, but as a united force choosing to stand and face what was coming. The enemy responded with overwhelming force, strikes hitting hard and fast, ships breaking apart around them, yet none of them turned away, not a single one. As the distance closed, the reality of the final moments settled in, a quiet countdown echoing through the ship as memories, faces, and everything worth living for filled their minds. Then came the impact, a blinding moment where everything vanished into light and force, tearing through the enemy formation with a power born not from weapons but from sacrifice. And in the end, the enemy stopped, then slowly retreated into the darkness they came from, leaving behind only silence and a single truth that would never fade. Humanity was here, and when the end came, we did not run, we stayed.